Good morning. Good morning. Well, give me just a minute while I get everything connected so that we are live in all the places we need to be. And as you get here, go ahead and pop in the comments and say hello. Let me know that you're here. And give me just a second while I get everything going. There we go. Get everything going. There we go. All right. Perfect. Whoops. I got things sitting here and okay, I got that. And you'll have to excuse me. I need to clean my glasses. And I kind of like that, liken that to, as the metaphor or whatever that I talk about quite a lot. And I've heard other people, so it's not like it's new to me, but or that I came up with it. But when you think about it, we are constantly walking around with dirty glasses, with um, different, our lens of the world is not clear, and we have parts of our vision that are obstructed, right? And so, like when I sat down right before I was doing this, and I realized my glasses were dirty, but I didn't want to take the time before I got on to do it. Um, is that there were like smudges in it. And so there was like some of the areas that I'd look at were kind of distorted. And so that's kind of how we go through life, depending on, who we've talked to, what we've been told. We have a distorted view of us, of the world, right? And so I am cleaning my glasses to give me, oh, they're still, and see, and sometimes you have to do a little more cleaning than you thought. So definitely as you get here, say hello. Well, I busy myself with this real quick. And I've already got the affirmation and the journal prompt already up and ready to go. Can't wait to share it with you. Oh, that looks so much better. Ah, now I can see. And so, one of the things that all of this practice stuff that we're doing with our affirmations and our journal prompts, and the master classes coming up on Friday, that is actually helping us to clean our lenses and see our life in a better frame, right? A cleaner lens. So I'm so looking forward to Friday. And so as you get here, make sure you say hello and let me know that you're here. Just finished cleaning my glasses, so we're good. Oh man, for those that and if anybody that's not here live and you're watching the replay, make sure you put hashtag replay so that I can we can converse together, and I know that you've been here. But yesterday, oh, good morning, Lynn. Yesterday was so fun, our Monday celebration, and I sent out the email recap. So if you haven't read that, make sure you go into your email and not only read it, but if for some reason it's not there, let me know so that I can make sure that your email is correct in the system. But it was so interesting. Um, it was like the Wendy show because it seems like everybody's name was Wendy. It was really fun. And we had such an amazing discussion about things. And it was pretty cool. And so, if you want to be part of those things, make sure you're here on Monday when we do our celebration. And we also celebrated our 250th member. So now I think we're up at 252. But it's amazing, and I couldn't do it without you guys. But it's just amazing that we can get this many people together that want to do the same thing, right? And so it's beautiful. So Lynn, are you, I'm so glad to have you here. I hadn't seen you in just a bit. So are you at work? Are you not working right now? I'm just curious because I don't know if you'll be able to participate or not, but I'm glad to have you here. Drinking my coffee out of my $1 million mug. I did make a decision yesterday that I've got to drink more water. And I know I've said this before, but like when I went to bed last night, I thought, how many times did I fill this water thing? I don't think I filled it enough. So obviously, I didn't drink enough water. And I woke up this morning with a headache. So I would say some of that comes from I didn't drink enough water yesterday. And, the sinus stuff, because we did have storms yesterday. And I did end up going outside and enjoying some of the sunshine afterwards. Good morning, Wendy. Good to see you. I was just telling Lynn we had the amazing Wendy show yesterday with all the Wendy's that were there. mm. Like I said, I feel like I'm a little off my game this morning because I do have a headache, and I think it's just it could be partly a sinus headache and partly that I didn't drink enough water, but it'll be fine, right? All right, so I'm going to go ahead. Yes, I work daily 8 to 5, so listening and will participate if I can. Beautiful. I was thinking you would be at work, so I was just clarifying that in my mind to make sure I was remembering correctly. So great to have you here, though, Lynn. I haven't seen you. I will. I took some Advil and I'll be fine. I'll be fine. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pop into the affirmation and we'll see what you guys think about this one. I sparkle with joy and light up every room I enter. Doesn't that feel good? Because one of the things that I talk about a lot, is our vibration, and we can feel other people's vibration. They can feel ours. So when we walk into any room, our vibration kind of arrives before we do. So we can be vibrating sparkle and joy, or we can be vibrating that we're just not sure. We can be vibrating that we're scared or that we're bored, or it shows up. It's kind of like I like to say, if you've ever been around someone who has on some very strong perfume and they don't smell it anymore, but they continuously keep adding to it because they don't think anybody can smell it. So you can smell them before they even get near your door, right? I kind of feel like our vibration sometimes is that way, that it arrives in the room like somebody standing there saying, okay, now enters Wendy, now enters Lynn. And it's like it's the little megaphone. And maybe it's like when you see the some of the movies and stuff where they have the royalty and stuff, and they'll walk in and there's an announcer announcing that they have arrived and where they're from, and they start coming in. And so our vibration is our announcer. And so if you want to be going into a room or a space and to be noticed in an amazing way, that you have this vibrational entrance, then yes, drum roll, then that's how you do it. You encompass this, you live this, you feel this, right? So it's not enough to just say, I sparkle with joy and light up every room I enter. You got to start saying it with feeling and give it, some oomph, like you would believe it. So you can almost say it like, a lot of times we can do things for others that we can't do for ourselves. Speaking from experience here. And so maybe it is saying it like you're telling someone else. So you don't have to say somebody else's name. You don't have to think about that, but give it that kind of feel, that you're really wanting someone else, and that someone else is you. Because remember, I talked about how I talk to my picture of my 5-year-old self all the time, right? And so um, do it with that kind of energy, that kind of feeling, so that you become this sparkle and light every time you walk into a room. And that could be when you walk into a grocery store, or you actually get into a meeting or something. It doesn't have to be a physical space, because like we've talked about before, vibrationally, we're connecting here too, right? And so it's like I have a friend that she's a Reiki master, and she teaches Reiki and everything. And most of her Reiki people now are on Zoom. And that's one of the things that COVID did do to help us, is that it gave us this platform that is so much different than it used to be. And now you can give that sparkle and joy lighting up this room, right? It doesn't have to be in person. And it's amazing to me that it works that way, because you would think it would not, but it does. You can feel it. Like I've had Hannah do Reiki with me, with the doing it on Zoom, because she's in Florida. And I swear you can feel it, right? And then I have a little gizmo thing that is a Healy, and it emits a frequency. And so I can do frequency readings and adjustments on like this too, and they can feel it. They can feel it. It transfers from me and this little machine. It's just a little square, but they can actually feel the vibration. And the first time, and this is really interesting to me, the first time I was introduced to the Healy, the woman who was talking to me about it, she lived in the UK, and we had a Zoom call like this, right? And she demonstrated it. Do you know the change it created in my frequency and everything was so intense just from this, that I almost felt loopy. Um, like it was like, it's a good thing I'm not going to have to drive, because it just brought a, that vibration, that frequency up so much that I felt drunk almost, and just enough for a moment. And then it kind of, I still got the benefits, but it kind of, the drunk feeling went away. Good morning, Kimmy. Great to have you here. And so it's important to remember that our frequency shows up before us. Oh, thank you for that. I don't know why sometimes, Kimmy, I remember to do it, and then other times I don't. And even the funny thing is, because Kimmy just put in the at everyone for me, is that I almost did that when I put the thing in that I was going to be 20 minutes. And I thought, oh, no. I need to save it for when it actually start. And then I didn't remember to do it. So thank you, Kimmy. I love that. But we are all the time emitting this energy, this vibration, this magnetism, right? And so we want to make sure that we are emitting the energy that we would be excited to have that energy come back to us, right? Because that's what happens. We walk into a room, whatever our vibration is, whatever our frequency is. Thank you, Kimmy. We're going to be magnetically drawing to us people with that same similar frequency, right? And so if you start noticing that you are getting the same type of people around you all the time, and you're not liking the ones that are showing up, where do you start? Right here. You start by paying attention to what your thoughts are, your feelings are. You start doing this work, because you will end up, if you don't do the work, you'll continue to have the same reflection back to you over and over and over again. And a lot of times we blame it on all kinds of things. However, it starts with us. So that's what I love about this work is we can change and we can be whatever we choose to be. And we want to make sure we're doing it on purpose, right? So we're creating this sparkling joy in us and we're vibrating that energy out around us. It's some amazing stuff. So I would love for you to maybe experiment with this. And I've played with this sometimes myself with, if you're going to be going into a place like a meeting or something, I don't know. But if you're going to be in a place, whether it's on Zoom or it's in person, just play. What kind of emotion do you want to have in you when you get on or get in the group? And just notice that whatever emotion that you decided to go in with, the people that come up and start talking to you will be the same. It's amazing, right? And there may be a little bit of difference, but most of them that will come up and actually feel comfortable to just talk to you. Now that may not be if you go into a room full of people, but you'll gravitate, even if it's a room full of people, the ones that are emitting that emotion, that vibration, they'll be the ones that'll talk to you first. And so like one of my clients that, she had a hard time with when she went to networking events to be able to approach people or talk to people. She just stood back and waited for people to approach her. And then sometimes she wasn't really even comfortable with that. And it's because she had that emotion within her, right? So I did some hypnosis with her so that the next time that she went to a meeting, she could walk into a room. Of course, we worked on what the vibration would be when she got there. When she got into the room, she could just scan the room and vibrationally, she knew who the person was that she needed to talk to. And it was amazing to her how it was like, she said she just knew as soon as she got in that room, I'll go talk to that person. And then it just like it opened up everything. But she was coming at it with a purposeful vibration and a good one that she wanted to emit, right? And so by taking this affirmation and making it yours, you can control that. But I would love it if you were to experiment with this a little bit and see what happens when you go into a space, whether it be online or in person. So is anybody want to experiment with that this week and give me some feedback? I would love to hear. So there's a little bit of a delay here. So if I don't notice it right away, it's because it hadn't shown up for me yet. But to go ahead and put a 1 in the comments if you will play. Let me look and see. Where are we at? I can't see the other places that I'm feeding out to. So give me a 1 if anybody's willing to play. Yes, Kimmy, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, Wendy, beautiful. So if you have the opportunity to do it today, play with it today. And I can't wait to hear. And so maybe even write about that. Have your notebook with you, and before you walk into a room or in an event or anything, decide what you're wanting to emit, what vibration you're wanting to emit, and write it down. This is what I'm going in with, and see what happens. And then just journal about it, because it would be really cool to get some feedback on this, because like I said, I've played with it myself, and it's pretty powerful. And when you can really get the full gist of how much you can control the vibration that you put out, and then control what's coming towards you, oh man, does it make life really amazing, right? And so remember, our affirmation is, I sparkle with joy and light up every room I enter. And make sure you put that on your sticky notes, your index cards, your screensaver on your phone, your mirror, whatever it is that where you're going to put it where you can say it to yourself often. And remember, I said, say it with emotion and then do some journaling about showing up in the different places, and then give us some feedback. I mean, if you do some today, go and give us some feedback. You can either respond on this, or you can create a whole nother post that you did this experiment and this is what happened. But it's going to be beautiful, beautiful. And I've got a meeting later today, and I think I'm going to play with that too, and just see, because it's some powerful stuff. All right, so now let's get to our journal prompt. All right. All right, so our journal prompt is: what are 3 fun ways you can bring more joy into your day? And how can you share that joy with others around you? And, when you're doing your journaling about this, you may find that you have a much more than 3 fun ways, right? So don't let that number 3 limit you to 3, right? Because one of the things we want to do is we want to expand who we are, and we want to live by the rules of abundance. And so if more than 3 things come to you, just brain dump as many as you can think of, because the more you know and have to look at it and say, ooh, like tomorrow, if you're looking at it, you say, oh my gosh, yesterday I said these were some ways that I could bring joy into my day. I didn't do some of these. Let me explore those. And then remember, one of the things that I share all the time is that to take your affirmation in your journal prompt. And if you've got a journal that's specifically for this, that's great. Put the date, because it's really important to be able to look back and see how far you've come. And maybe it's not only how far you've come, it's maybe you left a little tidbit of something there you didn't explore, and you go back and you look and you think, oh, I said this, and now I want to test it out. I want to see. So it's not always just that you're seeing how far you've come. It is looking back to see, what were your thoughts then? And maybe now one of those thoughts that you had, you're in a different position to where that feels better and you can actually do it, because we're constantly learning and growing, right? Or we're constantly changing. And if we're wanting to learn and grow, we do that on purpose. And this is part of the growth process. So just go ahead and write out as many as you can. And then the cool thing would be, like, the second part of this is, how can you share that joy with others around you? So let's just think about that a minute. So if you're creating this joy in your life, you're experimenting with this affirmation and how you show up in a room vibrationally and all. So if you're doing all of that, I don't know why I seem to be scratching a lot. What's that about? So when you're doing all of that, just think about it. How can you share that joy with others around you? So do you think, and you can let me know, do you think it's by showing them how joyful you are? Or do you think it's helping them to be more joyful? Do you think it's giving them ideas of joy, sharing your journey? What do you think? Is there anything that comes up for you as you guys are here? And I know, Lynn, you said you wouldn't be able to participate much. So if you're not able to respond in there, that's great. But you can maybe chime in later. But give me an idea, ladies. What do you think? How can you share that joy with others around you? What does that phrase mean to you? Take a sip of my coffee. And I got a question real quick while you're thinking about that. So I like to grind my beans and put them in. Did somebody just put them in the French press, right, with the hot water? And so did any of you guys do that? Because I got a question, and you may not know the answer, but I'm going to ask anyway. Well, let me just tell you what I've been noticing, and I'm trying to figure out what's the difference. And this probably nobody's ever thought of it before, but probably they have. But anyway, sometimes I sharing joy to others to me means to make people laugh. Okay, beautiful. All right. So, what does everybody else say? What does that phrase mean to you? So, let me ask you about the coffee thing. I grind my beans, I put them in the French press, I pour the water in, and I put the little thing at the top and I set my timer. Now, when I go back and I'm pressing it down, there are some beans, some of the coffee grounds, that when you go to press it down, it's really hard to press down, right? And then others, it's like, oof, and it's the same amount of coffee grounds. So what's the difference? Does anybody have an idea? I think I'm going to end up Googling that to see what, because I'm just curious. Is it that one's darker than the other? Is it how they're processed? Is it they're older? I don't know. So I'm just really, really curious. And I've asked a couple of people and they couldn't tell me. So there's got to be a reason. And it's not, and it's like, I notice it more, I think, on a darker bean, but I could be wrong. And so I'm just curious if anybody has a thought on that. I know we're not having a coffee conversation, but it was in my mind because this morning when I made the coffee, it was one of those where it was really hard to press down. It's, oh my gosh. So I would love to know. All right. Anybody else have a thought on how can you share that joy with others around you? What does that mean? And see, for me, it means, it has a couple of different meanings that come to me. And it's like that you would be able to demonstrate that you're joyful, right? And then the other one would be to give people things to be joyful about. So I'm just curious what you ladies think. Oh, we got some messages popping in really quick. Let's see here. What is this? All right. So just a reminder too, that Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern is when the master class is taking place, where I, along with Laura Westman, we're going to be doing some amazing things, sharing and teaching, and I'm super excited about sharing this. And this will be probably about 60 to 90 minutes is what we're kind of planning on. And so I think I can be kind of long-winded, so it would probably be closer to the 90 minutes. And, we're going to have some Q&A and just talk about so many different things. So I'm super excited to have you guys. And so if you have not already signed up, go into the events section in the group. And if you can't seem to locate how to do that, then, or where it's at, then message me and I'll send you the jot form that you can fill out. And then I send you an email with all the information. And maybe I should do the email. I'll figure that out. All right. So remember our affirmation. I sparkle with joy and light up every room I enter, and I'm so excited to experiment with this. Looking forward to Friday. Yes, me too. Me too. And then our journal prompt, what are 3 fun ways you can bring more joy into your day? And like I said, you can brain dump as many as you want. So don't limit yourself to 3 just because it says 3. Let's have our own rules about this. You just put it out there, right? And how can you share that joy with others around you? And since you guys had said that you are willing to do the experiment, I cannot wait to hear what comes up for you. And let's share it with the group because it'll be really, really cool. All right. So, ladies, I am going to remind you again about Friday, and then that I will be here tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern again to share the affirmation and journal prompt with you. And I so enjoy every time that you're here with me. And if you ever have something that's coming up as we're doing all of this, and you say, I would love for you to make a journal prompt that has something to do with this, then shoot me a message, because I just kind of go into like intuitively, it says, in my mind, I'm thinking, this is something that I need right now. Let me just share it out. And then sometimes I go in and I have ChatGPT create some affirmations and journal prompts for me. And then I end up tweaking them. And sometimes I even give it some ideas, make it about this, and see what it comes up. And then sometimes I use it as they gave me, or I say he gave me. And then other times I take it and change it about. But quite often it's just something that came to me that morning. And so if there's something in particular that's kind of catching your idea, and you would like an affirmation or journal prompt about that, definitely send me a message and let me know, and I'll get right on that. So you ladies and those that are watching the replay, have an amazingly sparkle day, because you deserve it.